decided to hold a press conference here at the state capitol for several reasons, two of which are that one of the major planks of my educational plan is the laboratory schools issue that I've tried to get passed into law for the last several years. And then secondly, we wanted to do this at the Civil Rights Memorial. However, due to the rain, we were not able to do it. But I thought that it would be appropriate to honor the work and memory of Oliver Hill and students like Dwight Jones and their efforts that helped African Americans break down the color barrier in our country. And in Richmond, we owe it to them to continue to fight for quality education, to ensure that every child, every black child, every white child, every Latino child, every child of any race or color or faith has a quality education, because we need for our children to believe in us. It's where pride begins. Education is an issue of great importance to me, because when I came to Richmond after having completed high school in Philadelphia, I was the product of a school system that failed me. When I came to Virginia Union, I was unable to do college work and had to be remediated. And after that experience, I made a decision that I would do everything in my power to make sure the children that were coming along after me would not have to go through what I went through. My plan to put education first is the most important step to building a better Richmond. To build a better Richmond, we've got to create an educational system that is worthy of our children, one in which cities across the nation will look to us as a model to emulate. We have to have a school system that has no fear of creativity, a school system that has no fear of new paradigms. We can spare nothing to ensure that our children have the tools they need to compete in a global economy. My plan addresses three major areas. Number one, making Richmond's middle schools models of innovation and creativity. Number two, lowering the high dropout and truancy rates. And number three, adopting a creative, market-driven solution to creating a world-class educational system. However, it's important for me to say that it's not something that I can do alone, that creating a world-class school system requires the help of the city council, the school board, the superintendent, the teachers, the students, principals, civic leaders, and the community. But even then, we are not able to create a world-class educational system unless we have a visionary leader, a leader that is able to bring people together around a common agenda. I bring that. It's what I've done all of my life, and I am a collaborative leader. And as mayor, I promise to work with all of those who are willing to help put education first. Number one, making Richmond's middle schools models of innovation and creativity. I've heard from countless residents that middle school years are the years when we lose population from our city, when people decide that they're going to move other places because of the middle school experience. It is for that reason that we need to be creative and stay on the cutting edge of the newest educational techniques and philosophies. We cannot rely on what we have done in the past. We need to continue to move forward. That's why I'm proposing that we establish laboratory schools for the purpose of stimulating development of innovative public education programs by providing for greater cooperation between institutions of higher education and the K through 12 educational systems. Learning by doing is what has caused these schools to prosper in Chicago, Indianapolis, New York, and Washington. A lab school's mission is entirely focused on the student. It's not just about test scores, but it's about the entire student's experience. These lab schools are as interested in the development of character as they are in the development of the scholastic achievement. They are a model for successful teaching across the country. We have a moral and constitutional obligation to move beyond political slogans to guarantee that our schools provide children with world-class skills and knowledge. In addition to working to develop these lab schools, we need to develop new middle schools. One of the things that I've done since announcing for mayor is that I have visited many of the schools, and our schools are on average 65 years old. It's obvious that we need a major capital program in our school system, and I will work very hard to make sure that that happens. And then we want to lower Richmond's high dropout and truancy rates. The high dropout and truancy rates combined with the low graduation rates of our students, along with the increasing number of disciplinary actions in our schools, are unacceptable. Particularly am I concerned about Richmond's African American students who have been particularly put into this category. These high dropout truancy rates show a failure on our part as a community to provide vulnerable students with the kinds of support and resources they need to be successful. We've got to take pride in all of our children because they look to us for leadership and stewardship. Truancy is the precursor to children dropping out of school. If we're going to save these young people, we've got to catch them at the early stages. Early intervention is the key. That involves parents, that involves police and schools and teachers. We need to find a way to ensure that our young people are going to school, but once they go to school, we want to be sure they're staying in school. The statistics are alarming. In the 2006-07 school year, we had nearly a 4% dropout rates in grades 7 through 12. And in that same year, Richmond led the state in the number of children that were consistently truant, with over 5,000 youngsters having unexcused absences for more than 6 times. And so I'm thinking and proposing that what we need to do is provide resources for our schools to have advisors, to work with students individually on academic and career plans, to find out what their career interests are, to encourage mentoring partnerships or additional mentoring partnerships with the business community and with the community where our schools are located, to continue to invest in pre-K, to hold monthly meetings with school administrators, teachers, police, and other community groups to chart a progressive course, and to work with the Virginia Commission on Youth when their report on truancy is complete. And then we want to adopt creative market-driven solutions to create a world-class educational system. We've got to take, we cannot take any option off of the table when it comes to the education of our children. We can leave no stone unturned in our pursuit of excellence in education. Education is important to everyone in our city, and I want to work with the business community as well as other interested communities to create a world-class educational system. We've got to be more efficient in our procurement practices, and we must be wise and deliberate in our allocation of resources. In tough economic times, we need to be creative and use our money wisely. We need to expand our after-school programs and enhance our public-private partnerships. This will allow students the opportunity to improve their performance in school, but also have a safe haven for them after school. Seriously, we need to consider the establishment of alternative schools and programs, and I will take no idea off of the table, including charter schools, if they are equitable and fair, and if they are open and available to all children, and if they take no money away from the public educational system. Do what we can to retain our equality teachers and principals, and work with our teachers and principals to make decisions on what the best practices are in educating our children. Richmond's teachers work their hardest every day to educate our children, and their views and opinions on what works best in the classroom should be encouraged, and I will take them very seriously, and they should be rewarded for their hard work. To recruit and hire the most highly qualified teachers who will work to improve accountability and student achievement. World-class education starts with world-class teachers and principals, and it should be our goal to attract a highly qualified teacher for every classroom in the city of Richmond. We want to elevate the status of career and technical education. We want to work with the business community to develop career pathways in our schools to prepare students for high-skilled, high-wage jobs. And then finally, we want to work with our school board members, our city council members, and our churches and civic associations to raise awareness to the options of career and technical education. There are several wonderful facilities here in Richmond, and we need to encourage children who aren't interested in college to pursue education in these other fields. We need to be open to the best practices and solutions that other urban school districts are employing, and I'll be open to visiting and accepting those practices that might be utilized here in Richmond. Once again, I want to thank you for being here. This is my vision for building a better Richmond by putting education first. It's going to require the help and cooperation of all of those who have a vested interest, but I believe I'm the best person qualified to unite everyone around this vision, and I will not rest until we have the educational system that our children deserve here in our city.